welcome back to the video, guys. Today we are making a sandwich, possibly the mother of all sandwiches, and that is the banh mi. So banh mi is from Vietnam. There are French influences in there, so it goes into a banh mi roll, which is kind of their version of a French baguette. We don't have banh mi rolls today, we're just making a banh mi inspired sandwich. So there are a few key things go into a banh mi. One is grilled meats, so we're using pork today. You can do it with chicken, beef, whatever you want. But this is going to be a honey and mustard marinated pork fillet. Then the other thing is pickled vegetables. Traditionally it's pickled carrot and daikon. Daikon is like a massive radish. So we're swapping that out. Couldn't get daikon, we're just using regular little red radishes. So we're going to make up the pickle first. It needs about 2 hours for the pickle to do its work. You can leave it for longer than that, but after 2 hours it's good to eat. The meat is going to take around an hour to marinate, so we'll do pickle first, then we'll get onto the meat. So I have a few homegrown carrots. I'm just going to square them off a little bit and we're going to batten them. If you want the pickle to work quicker, batten them quite thin. You can leave them chunkier if you're going to leave it for a longer period of time. But just give these a quick scrub to remove any nasties from the outside. I'll just square up the edges, take a little rough end off, get rid of the wasp. Okay, and once you look at it, take them into little thin strips. If you don't, take a strip off your finger while you're at it, and then just square them off. And these are only a few millimeters wide, but that will hopefully allow them to pickle a little bit quicker and we can get on with the sandwich. So that's what we're doing with the carrots. I'll go through the rest of these off camera. For the radishes, just take that little head off, and we're doing these in slices. Again, as thin as you want. If you want them to pickle faster, then go for thinner slices. Something like that is perfect. Get rid of the wasp again. Unreal. So we're doing the radishes like this. Carrots are in little battens, then they're going into the jar. You can layer them through it, so just do the radishes, carrots, fill the jar up as much as you can. Okay, and once you've everything cut up and into the jar, you pack it down in as much as you can. Leave a little bit of room because you want this to top this off with the Brining Liquid. So this is half apple cider vinegar, half water. Then there's salt, sugar, mustard seeds and fennel seeds in there as well. And you bring that to the boil just to dissolve down the salt and the sugar in it. And then you can let it cool a little. It doesn't have to be completely cold whenever you're putting it in. So we're going to use this to top up the jar. So pour it, give everything a press down, make sure it's submerged underneath. Top off the jar. And we're going to close that up and seal it and leave it be. So this has to pickle for around 2 hours, ideally a little bit longer, but we've cut it fine enough that 2 hours will be okay. Then we can use it in the sandwich. So we'll set that to the side. Now we need to get on to the pork fillet and get it ready to go and into the marinade. So here's our pork fillet we're going to be using. Great thing about pork fillet is it's quite lean. There's not usually a lot of fat on there to trim up. There is, however, a little bit of silver skin usually left on one side, so trim that off. It's not very nice to chew on. Now this is going to get sliced up and put into a marinade, which we have the ingredients for here. So we're starting off with honey. So it's honey and mustard are the main flavours in this, but there's some other great flavours in there too. Into that we're going to add roughly 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and in with some Dijon mustard as well. And then in here we have about a tablespoon of minced garlic, and then there is some fresh thyme, fresh rosemary, just get the herb flavour in there too. So add that in and start to bring that together. Alright, that gives us nice consistency, awesome smell of it. Mustard's strong in it, honey's going to give us a nice sweetness, which we have to be careful of. We'll talk about that after. Now, I'm going to pour a little bit of this back into one of our bowls, just to use as a glaze whenever we're cooking it. So set that to the side for now, don't need it just yet. So the next thing then is to cut up our fillet. We're going to go into roughly 1/2 inch size slices. Similar idea to the pickle, the thinner you do it the quicker it'll marinate. So 1/2 inch thick slices, an hour should be fine to get it in there. You could marinate it all as one, it's just going to take longer to penetrate through. So we're looking for little chunks, something like that. Those are going to go on the skewers quite nicely to cook. They're very small pieces just to be turning on the grill, so it's better if you can get them onto skewers. Again, this is definitely something you can do by roasting the whole tenderloin, then just carving it up and putting it into a sandwich. But by cutting it into smaller pieces, it's going to cook a little bit faster, plus you have the opportunity to really get the marinade into it. Any opportunity you can grab to get flavour right into the inside of the meat is definitely a bonus. So there we have it, all our little chunks are cut up, ready to go. Going to get them into the marinade. Bring that back over, just use your spoon to mix it all through, get it coated in it. So I'm going to cover that, throw it back into the fridge for, as I say, around an hour while we get our barbecue set up, and we'll talk about what else needs to go into a banh mi sandwich to really make it a banh mi sandwich. Alright, there are a few other key things then that we need for the sandwich. Now, I know you're thinking this is a lot of effort to go to for a sandwich. It takes time, but it doesn't take a lot of work. So the pickle, you can chop that up sort of 10-15 minutes, get the brine made up for it. It just takes time to actually do the process, it doesn't take time to prepare it. Same with the marinade for a sandwich. You don't wait for an hour to marinate for a sandwich. Well, yes you do if it is an awesome sandwich. So a few other things go into it. Traditionally there's cucumber in it, then we have some coriander. This is sort of where our green is coming from. These are just picked coriander leaves. As far as sauce goes, we're going with a Sriracha mayo, which is just 2 parts mayonnaise to 1 part Sriracha hot sauce. Give them a mix up, adjust that to your liking. If you like it hot, you can add a little bit more. As I mentioned, they usually have like a banh mi style roll. So this is sort of a regular baguette roll. It is not, the banh mi rolls aren't quite as crusty as this, but they're very similar to them. So this is as close as I could get to it. If you can find banh mi rolls, or even better yet, make your own, crack on. The one thing I don't have, which is normally in a traditional one, is some form of pate. So we're not going with pate today. Some of them are just veg and pate, some have grilled meats. So I think there's enough flavour in that pork with the marinade once it's grilled over the coals that we're not going to need a pate in there, we're not going to miss it. So we have been just about an hour. I'm going to go and grab the pork, we're going to get it skewered up and cooked, and then it is time to make this up because I am starving. Okay, so our pork has been marinating for an hour. I've just been going in every now and again giving it a mix around just to keep it coating and make sure everything is covered in the marinade. So get rid of that. We're going to be putting this on the skewers. I'm using double prong skewers for this because they're quite small pieces of meat. I don't want them to fall about too much, and if I grab a piece here, rather than putting them on through the widest part of the meat, I'm going to try and put them on sideways. I'll bring you in closer in a little second to show you what I mean. Just to get the maximum surface area onto that grill as we can. we're going to take them, thread them on. This is why we cut them slightly chunkier. Barbecue is all set up. I haven't got a very big fire in it. There's only sort of a few good sized lumps down in the bottom. I don't want a screaming hot heat, and I've actually lifted the grates up as well. Because there is a lot of honey in this marinade, there's a good chance that it can catch if you have a screaming hot fire in below it and you have it sitting too close to the flames. So set your barbecue up for a sort of medium direct heat. You don't want anything too hot, and hopefully shouldn't run into too many problems. So I'm going to get the rest of these skewered up. We're going direct over the coals, cook them on each side. Remember, we saved a little bit of that marinade. Once they get towards the end, you can just brush a little bit more onto them, just to build up that flavour on the outside. And once they're cooked, we're going to come back and I'll show you how this all goes together. Pork is just about ready. I've just probed it and it's hit around 70-72 degrees, which is plenty for pork. We'll go ahead and lift that off. Okay, we've just grilled it on one side to get a nice colour on it, then flipped it over, brushed a little bit of that marinade back onto it again, just to keep building up the flavours on it. It smells incredible. I've put our bread on the side with no coals, just the indirect side to warm it through a little bit. So yeah, I think that's good to go. This means it's feed time. So for the bread, I go in with a knife, slice it open, don't cut it all the way, and leave it that we can just pull it open. Smell of fresh baguettes, so nice. Now, I've seen a few just remove some of the bread from the lid, because by the time you get this thing filled, the lid ain't going to close very easy on it. Rid of that. Okay, so we have our bread ready. We're going to go on first with some of that Sriracha mayo on the bottom. Just use the back of your spoon to spread that out, and we'll stick a little bit up in the lid as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going on with is our pork. So we'll take off the skewers first. Oh, so sticky in. My days. Just use the back of your knife. Take that all off. This isn't really a sandwich for one person. It's going to be quite big by the time we're done with it, so feel free to share it with a loved one. Now, I need to go in for a little taste before we put it in. It is so tender. This is going to be good. Right, pork. Layer it on, and layer it on thick. We have a lot of veggies to go into this, so we need to counteract all those veggies with tasty grilled meat. Next on is cucumber. So with great sweetness from the pork, this is going to add freshness to it. shy with it. You want plenty on there. It's good to me. Okay then, our pickles. So you can see those carrot sticks going nice and soft. Still a nice little crunch to them. Apple cider vinegar is perfect. Okay. Just grab out a bunch of those. Drain off the excess pickle juice. Start to place them on top. And last but certainly not least, our coriander. These are just fresh leaves on top. Again, go heavy with it. Okay, I need to bring these in for a closer look. We've got it closed up, cut in half, and it's time to eat. Alright, I've taken enough damn photos of this thing. Can't wait to taste it. Don't worry, I'm going to get lockjaw trying to get my mouth around it. It should be the perfect balance. So the honey mustard gives sweetness, there's definitely richness in that, tasting the pork, it's unreal. Great pork, it has cucumber for freshness, plus fresh herbs in there, and that little bit of bite from the pickled carrots and radish. And then Sriracha mayo just to sauce everything up a little bit, add a little kick of heat. Maybe it needs more chili, who knows, let's find out. Wish me luck. Mm-hmm. 100% yes. There's a lot of eating in it. Yep. Even though the pickles are in there, that little like crunch from them for some reason is unexpected. I can see them in there, but whenever you're chewing through it, soft pork, bread's nice and soft, cucumber just sort of melts away, and you get the crunch and the tang from the apple cider vinegar. There's still a little bit of sweetness in there, it's quite a sweet pickle. But boy do they go well together. Coriander rings through in the background too. But heat, it needs more heat. The Sriracha mayo wasn't hot enough, so I'm thinking probably I wouldn't want to change the pork, so I'm going to say fresh chilies in there. Maybe some jalapenos, just fresh red chilies diced up nice and fine, sprinkled over the top. Don't know. I would love to try it with the proper banh mi roll. So the crust on the outside of a banh mi roll isn't quite as crusty, but I've never been a fan of baguettes because they are so hard to eat, especially something that's here. You have a big massive sandwich, you're trying to bite down through that. So a softer roll I can see would definitely be preferable in my eyes, but nice fresh bread. I'm going to try it with a different one, but that combination of fillings is out of this world. I'm not quite sure where pate would fit into it. The strongest flavours coming from this are definitely the pork and the pickle. I think pate would just get lost in it, but that's my mere humble opinion. So if you want to give this a try, I'll leave a link in the description for the full recipe. Let me know how you get on. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
What?